soon. Actually, I think I know what the name should be. The best kept secret. My name is McLeon Charles. It's spelled as Mcleon. I know a lot of people put a lot of C's or put a couple E's, but it's only one C, one E. I'm from Orlando, Florida, and basketball first started for me, truthfully, in sixth grade. I wanted to play with my friends, and they didn't want me to play because of how bad I was at basketball. I was actually bad. Like, I would shoot a shot nowhere near the rim. I didn't know the fundamentals. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know how to play the game of basketball. And so that, I think that just started a fire in me that I didn't know that I had. You know what? It wasn't about wanting to be better than anybody, but it was actually wanting to prove people that I can be good, because it was the comments that were going around and then the laughters that made me like angry, and I wanted to show them that I can be good. Yeah. Absolutely. So in Orlando, there was a small town called Meadowwoods, and that's where I really grew up, in Meadowwoods, Florida. So it was my peers that were around me. I didn't know much about basketball. I didn't know about AAU at that time. So what was around me in Meadowwoods was some very talented basketball players. And so just being around them, and being around guys like Dwight Thompson, Dimitri Thompson, those were my mentors growing up. And so I just remember a small little story I could share. When I was in Boys and Girls Club, we were constantly playing basketball and we were constantly training. And there was a time where, I think I was getting a little conceited. And then Dwight Thompson, he let me know right there and then. He nipped it in the bud, and he was like, "Yo, listen, you haven't even seen the full surface of the basketball world." Yeah, he was telling me that I was not that good. Like, there's many other guys that are better than you, because all I saw was Meadowwoods. And so when he told me that, that made me look myself in the mirror, and kind of take a step back, and kind of like explore. So that's when I started going on YouTube, looking at other basketball players, and then I was able to see the culture. So what I saw in Meadowwoods, guys were talented, guys were competitive, but there was another level that I didn't know about. And then I realized that, okay, I need to humble myself. Like, I have a lot more work to do. But in Orlando, you hear about Austin Rivers, you hear about Anfernee Simons, you hear about, the few guys I'm naming that I know very well. You hear about Nazir Little. These guys, they had their head on straight, and so um, they kind of left a blueprint for guys to follow in Orlando, and showing them what it takes to be in a very elite NBA basketball player. So I think I truly believe that it's the desire to wake up every day and do something that you love, even when you don't see the results right away, when you don't see the door opening right away for you, wanting to perfect in your craft. Like, you don't get those desires out of nowhere. Like that's placed upon you, whether you believe in God or not. I truly believe everybody here has a certain gift that is placed within them, and once they, figure out what that is, you just work on it. And then when you work on it every single day, and then you put yourself out there, you got to put yourself out there. You got to show the world your gift. I think good things come to you, and I think that's what happened with me. Just knowing that I worked every day, and then there was times I doubted myself. I was like, is this really for me? And then to have that one night confirmed for me, I ran with it. And some may say that I'm delusional, but if you want to be successful, I think you got to be delusional. So yeah, yeah, absolutely. I like that you touched on that question, because I think um, I truly believe that there's many athletes that stop chasing their dream because of what a man told them, or because of what a man did towards their career. Um, my mom always told me that you could be whatever you want to be. And so, me hearing that every single day she was telling me this, I just never allowed someone to dictate what my life could be. You know what I'm saying? So, when I was in high school, it was my senior year. I didn't know what was next. And then once it ended, I didn't get no scholarship. And then after that senior year, I took a post grad year. And Scott Golden, he's well known for putting players into colleges, JUCO, NAIA, D1, D2, D3, you name it. He's a really spectacular human being in terms of helping players and putting them in the schools that fit them. And so him and I, we had a conversation, and he told me that he wanted me to take a whole year off, take part-time classes. And that following year in the summer, I landed a full scholarship to Pensacola State College. Now, when I got there, it wasn't sweet. I was able to, I had to adapt real quickly to the college, the physicality, and in terms of like, having a very strict schedule, getting places on time, like, the bus and this, that, the third, like there was little, slip ups that I had. But while I was there, I vividly remember that my coach, shout out to him because they just won the JUCO national championship. So they just won this year, so this is crazy. Yeah, shout out to Coach Pena. But at the time when I was there, he specifically told me, "I do not want you to dribble the ball." He's telling me that he's telling this to a scorer, and he's saying all I want you to do is shoot. Now, if that's, think about it. Like when you get the ball, you're in the game, you get the ball, and then the first thing you think in your mind is, don't dribble the ball. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't complain. I didn't. I took the constructive criticism because there was a reason why he said that. He was saying that my my decision making wasn't as good as I thought it was, and he was right because all I knew was to score. I didn't know how to get my teammates better. I didn't know how to share the ball. So I took the constructive criticism. I did what he said. He wanted me to shoot. That's all I did. And I thank him a lot for that because that season, I played a role and I played within my role. So moving on from that, I went to Wallace State Community College, and I was able to put the ball on the floor a little bit because over that summer after Pensacola State, I worked on my game and I worked on what he said what was my weakness.